Congratulations on your purchase of a Texas Instruments TI Inspire.
Or congratulations for borrowing this TI Inspire from Mr. Wade, in which case enjoy the loan and using it on the AP exam. Failure to return this device to Mr. Wade before graduation will result in a $200 fine and the lack of graduation.
This calculator will do all sorts of things for you. Differentiate, integrate, even limits. Come with me on a journey of learning how to use this calculator, and you too can be inspired.
Failure to return this device to Mr. Wade before graduation will result in a $200 fine and the lack of graduation. The buttons we'll be learning today include X, comma, open parentheses, close parentheses, caret, equals, and menu.
All right, this is session number 1 of Getting Inspired with Mr. Wade. So we need to talk about how we're going to review for the AP test, the format of the AP test, and a couple little tidbits like that. So on your notes there's a blank and it says AP test date. Well, this year, it's going to be May the 4th, 2021. Oh yeah, I plan on showing this to future classes. Well, that date's going to change if you're watching this in the future, but in 2021, that's when it's going to be. May the 4th be with you, right? Okay, second blank is the first FRQ quiz date. We are going to take some FRQ quizzes along the way. Well, at least this year, it's going to be March the 23rd, the day before my birthday. How about that? I get to grade papers on my birthday the next day. All right. March 23rd, 2021 goes in that blank right there, okay? All right, so going on now, exam format. So 33% of your grade comes from what they call Section 1, Part A. There's a blank, and that is where you're gonna do 30 multiple choice questions in 60 minutes. Okay, then there's a blank at the very end. Average, 2 minutes per problem. Okay, not as fast-paced as the ACT, but of course this is calculus, so, you know. But stuff like just take a simple derivative, take a slope, take simple stuff. So it won't be bad. Now, 17% of your grade comes from the next category. Section 1, Part B is 15 multiple choice questions. This time you have a calculator. There's no calculator for these, so it's like the mental math stuff we've been doing in our class since Integrated 3. This is our strength. I'm going to train you how to type stuff into the Inspire calculator, all right? Teach you all my ways on this fancy schmancy calculator that you now possess in 45 minutes, which works out to be, if I can speak straight, 3 minutes per problem, basically, which means they allow a little extra time for button pushing. Then you move on to section, and I believe you get a break between like every single one of these, so you get a chance to rest your brain. So then, more breaks than the ACT, that's for sure. Section 2, Part A, you have 2 free response questions. 2 parts, 3 parts, 4 parts, somewhere in there, multiple part question. You write out all your work. It's not just bubbles like this is up here. 30 minutes for 2 of them, but that works out to be 15 minutes per problem. Okay, and then you move on to the final section where you have 4 FRQ questions, and these are without calculator. These are with, these are without. So now you go back to the mental math we practice all the time. This is our strength. For my students, this is a strength right here. And that's in 60 minutes or an hour, which also divides out to be exactly 15 minutes average, that is, per section, all right? Per multiple part section, basically. And that's section number 2, Part B is what that is, okay? 17% of your grade, 33% of your grade again. So essentially 66% of your AP exam score comes from mental math without the calculator, which I'm one of the few teachers who does no calculator all year long and just practices mental math even in Integrated 3. And just a few years ago, like 5 years ago, 56% of the AP exam was based on non-calculator. So about half and half. And they've upped that now to 66% because college professors insist that you be able to do mental mathematics and not hit a bunch of buttons. That is a strength for us, right? 66% now, okay? Pure mental math, no calculator. We got this. I mean, we're so good at this, all right? We're great at this. So let's go on to Wade's system for reviewing. So what we'll do is we're going to go over some calculator tactics today so you can get used to typing this stuff into a calculator, all right? Then, after I show you a few problems, you'll be able to work on a multiple choice practice, all right? This is already in Schoology, but a multiple choice practice, you'll get to see what problems look like on the AP test, and there will be a separate sheet for your just your letter choices, so you can circle the right one. Okay, you can print this or write it on your own paper, but that's going to be due at the time of the first FRQ quiz. So what we do is we go through multiple choice questions so that you can practice them, and then you turn them in basically on the next class period, and then you turn right around and you take a free response quiz. It's like a half test, but it does go in the summative category. But it's a practice to see, how do I do multiple choice? How do I do a quiz? And we alternate between multiple choice and quiz, multiple choice and quiz. And sometimes we do like 2 multiple choice. And sometimes we'll do back-to-back days with quizzes, but it depends, all right? But we pretty much alternate, so get used to that, all right? If you're worried though, wait. We always have sample tests, Mr. Wade. When we take the first quiz and I turn in my first multiple choice answers, what about, how do I know what's going to be on the quiz? I provide a sample quiz, but I've written out in my own handwriting all the answers, how you could have most efficiently done the answer that year. I'll work them out for you. I'll show you how to do it. You'll kind of read through it, because this point is just review, all right? So you'll read through it and go, okay, all right, I understand what Mr. Wade did there, and there. Bring it on, Mr. Wade. And then I'll just change the numbers on the quiz, okay? So that's that system. All right, now what else can we do? Let's get into that calculator. So first, you want to change the mode. You want to make sure that your calculator is in the correct mode. All right, let's find out how to do that. So to turn your calculator on, you're just going to hit the on button there. Pretty easy. It's going to pop on like that. And then if you hit on again, just in case it didn't go there, you can always get to this nice little black screen where you have options. That's the home screen. Let's scroll down there to number 5, which is called settings. Hit enter. And then we're going to scroll down to document settings, number 2, and hit enter again. Okay, now all the settings are okay except for go down there to where it says calculation mode. I want you to make sure and change that to approximate, not auto. So you've got an arrow down there, select approximate, and hit enter. Now you're in the right mode. And then if you keep arrowing down, you'll eventually get to okay. Or you can like move your finger around that big box there and it turns into a mouse. And so you can actually mouse over the word okay and then hit the center box to basically enter it, okay? So do that, and now you're in the correct mode. All right, now let's go back to the other board. Let's try the first problem. And fun fact, the only 2 animals that actually give each other names, humans, of course, and dolphins. How about dolphins are so smart, they have a different sound for each friend. And they all use the same sound for that friend. That's just amazing, isn't it? Animals, right? So this is how far their dolphin sonar, their little clicking noises, travel through the ocean, all right? And so even through thick water, like they're really, really loud. So let's figure out what happens, how strong is the dolphin sonar if you go 10 miles away? Now, doesn't it say on the paper that X is in miles? And I just gave you 10 miles, so wouldn't you just take 10 and plug it in for X? Of course, right? Okay, once you put 10 in for X, so let's first of all write out your game plan, right? Write it out and then we'll type it in. Okay, your game plan is, let's figure out what 220 times 0.948 to the 10th is. And I just want you to get used to where all the buttons are. All right, turn your calculator back on if it went off. Now, calculate and graph are the 2 choices. You're going to select calculate because this is basically where we do all of our calculations, obviously. So we're going to hit 220. There's a parentheses button, 0.948 parentheses. There's a caret button for power, and then 10th. And then you'll hit 10 and enter. And you should get 128.975 decibels. All right, that's as loud as a gunshot underwater 10 miles away. My gosh, that's amazing, isn't it, right? That's how loud the dolphin sonar is. That's just incredible to me. So let's go over here now. All right, how to solve on your nspire. Okay, the next one, I got my notes right here actually. The next one is where we have 120 decibels given in the second problem, B. Well, we have to put 120 in for decibels, but that was the y coordinate. So we have to set this equal to 120, don't we? 0.948 to the x. Now, you've learned things in integrated 3 and in pre-calculus that'll solve this for you. Sometimes they'll be awful. This one's actually solvable, but don't do it. Don't waste time. Type it in the calculator. Let me show you how quickly we can do this that way. So on the calculator, all the cool stuff is under menu. Solving is algebra, not calculus. So hit algebra, and then your choices are all right there. We're going to pick solve, the very first one. Okay. Now in the parentheses, you're going to do 120. There's an equals button right there on the side next to the control button. So we're going to say equals, and then we're going to type 220 parentheses 0.948 caret to the x power. Now you've got to get out of the exponent. You see how your cursor's in the exponent. You've got an arrow to the right to get out of it. And you have to press comma, and then that alphabet at the bottom there, x. If you don't tell it to solve for x, it doesn't know what to solve for, all right? When you hit enter, you should get a number. So important key there to get out of the exponent back to normal on the cursor there, and then put the comma x, because again, the calculator doesn't know to solve for x, dummy. So you have to tell it. All right, so once you type that in, you should get about 11.351 by rounding, and that's miles, by the way, miles away. Wow. Okay, and if you want to write down some of the details I gave you there, you can replay it and write that down again. So that's how you can solve anything on the TI. You'll be using that a lot. All right. Letter C, fun fact, the human race will not have enough blank left on the earth in 2040. Water, I guess it's not really a fun fact, it's really a sad fact, isn't it? Anyway, okay, now, speaking about basically things that we need to live, this is oil. This is the world's oil supply, and it is quickly diminishing. All right, so here's the equation. It says, how fast are we losing oil in 2030? All right, now if you look at the instructions, X is years after 2020. So 2030 is going to be what? X equals 10 years later, right? Okay, how fast? How fast is a derivative? So let's write down our game plan, then I'll show you how to type it in the TI Inspire. The game plan is you would have to take the derivative. But wait, wouldn't we take 10 and plug it into the derivative and round off whatever that is? Now, can you all take this derivative? You should be able to. It's exponential decay. All right, because the base is less than 1. It's an exponential function. But wait, if you could just type it in when you're doing the calculator section, not the non-calculator section, but the calculator section, if you can type it in, just do it that way quickly. All right, how to take a derivative on the Inspire, let's take a look. So let's turn it back on in case it's gone off now. And here's what we'll do. We're going to go to menu, again, where all the cool stuff is. Now, isn't this actually calculus because it's a derivative? Now we've got 4 choices. Look at all those things it does. We're going to pick derivative at a point. Where, Mr. Wade? At x equals 10. So the variable is x. That's good. We're going to pick 10 where we want to plug it in, and it says first derivative, which is also good. So we're going to hit OK, and we can take, now it sets us up here. See d over dx. We're taking a derivative of what? Let's enter the equation. 70.3 parentheses 0.918, close parentheses, caret to the x power. Enter. And it just took the derivative and plugged in 10 at the same time. And the answer was roughly negative 2.556. Oh, we're only losing 2 gallons of oil per year? Nope, that was in trillions, my friends. That's about 2.5 trillion, and it's negative because we're losing. And they say we're going to run out of oil by about 2070 by some estimates. But Mr. Wade eats so much fried chicken and hamburgers, I'll be dead by that point. All right, let's go to the last board. As we all know, Jeff Bezos was the richest man in the world because of Amazon until 2020. Did you know he got passed up by Elon Musk? Then Jeff Bezos regained the lead by $3 billion. So there you go, they trade off. Now, we've got this equation, okay? Average net worth, that's an average value. How do we do average value? Game plan. Integrate from 2 to 4 of what? The function, right? Integrate the function. Now, could you integrate this function? Sure, sometimes they'll be non-integrable. You can all integrate this function, but it's kind of a hassle. They'll let you type this one in. Fantastic. We'll integrate it. Mr. Wade, I added up all my test scores and my average should be a 653. Nope, you forgot to divide. It's an average. B minus A, 4 minus 2, remember? Let's not type this in first, though. Let's focus on this part first. So how do you integrate on the TI Inspire? You can do that too. Let's take a look. Now, if your calculator turns off, of course, there's the on button. You have to get used to where all the buttons are. All right, so if you press on again, you can always get to that black screen. That's for later when we start graphing, okay? We'll stick with calculate today. Now remember, all the cool stuff is under the menu. All right, so we're going to press menu. Integration is definitely calculus, that's for sure. So we go in there, we select integral this time and hit the box. Oh, it gives you a nice little integral. So we're going to go from 2, arrow up, arrow up. We're going to hit 4, arrow right, and we're going to enter our equation. 20, parentheses 1.33, parentheses closed, caret button to the 2x. Now, we're going to arrow to that last box. We do have to tell it dx. You'd think it would know, but it apparently doesn't. So we tell it dx and enter. And there we get a number 233.596. Now you haven't divided by the 2 yet, so don't forget that. So 233.596 we said, divided by 4 minus 2 is 2. So you go back to the calculator, cut it in half, and the final answer that I got was 116.798. And now you know how to use all the cool calculus stuff and even the solve on your TI Nspire. Very nice, okay? All right, and last thing, by the way, for those of you who are OCD just like me, you can clear all the history because students always ask, hey, Mr. Wade, can I just clear all this junk out of there? You can, all right, blue control, and then hit the menu button because right above it is like a little blue outline. And the very first thing is clear history, and you get to clear the whole screen. Nice. All right, so that is your introduction to Nspire. Now go try the multiple choice. There's some of those in there where you get to program the calculator yourself. And there's lots of typical multiple choice from the AP test. And then you're going to turn that in on the next available class period, which this year, 2021, is going to end up after spring break. And you're going to turn it into me on that. It's going to be a Tuesday. And then turn right around and take the free response quiz based on my sample quiz that I put on Schoology. All right? And then we are on our way to reviewing. Okay, I'll see you next time. Now we're going to move on to the final section, which is section 2. Part B. Okay, just want to show you that. And we're going to always select calculate if you ever get lost. So, what am I doing now? This is preposterous. Go back. Fun fact, the world will not have enough blank to basically assist the human, for the human race. Just stupid.